She creates noise. She creates noise. She's moving through the world with a powerful voice. She creates noise. She creates. She creates noise. She creates noise.
Hi, and welcome to She Creates Noise. I'm Sarah Nagurney, songwriter, producer, manager, and your host, and I'm so grateful you're here. As many of you know, She Creates Noise is about highlighting the women who shape the music industry, executives, producers, songwriters, managers, artists, and advocates who have built lasting careers in a challenging and constantly evolving landscape. We want to tell these stories to amplify these women's accomplishments and to inform and educate listeners about their journeys. This season, we've featured mentor and artist pairings, including A.C. Scott, who began her singing career in her 60s alongside her mentor, the remarkable A&R executive Kate Hyman, who also joined us in season 1. We'll have a thoughtful mental health episode featuring top-tier industry leaders, artist manager Erica Ramon, and Kathy Olson, founder of Hollywood in Mind, exploring the emotional realities behind the music business. Recently, we sat down with the extraordinary hit songwriter Bonnie McKee, known for her work with Katy Perry, Pam Shane, who co-wrote Genie in a Bottle, and Lauren Christie, who co-wrote Complicated for Avril Lavigne. As we are nearing the end of this season, we'll be talking with Michelle Lewis, CEO of Sona, and singer-songwriter Sammy Ray, along with some more voices who continue to move the industry forward. There have been so many interesting guests, and I'm honored that so many incredible women have joined me here. I'm excited for you to hear their stories about craft, leadership, longevity, and what it really takes to build a meaningful career in music. If you'd like to know more about me and my own journey as a songwriter and producer and artist development strategist, you can always check out the trailer. Thank you for coming back. Thanks for listening. And please leave a comment or review. It really helps the algorithm recognize that these conversations matter, and it helps more people then discover the show. Thanks again.
She creates noise.
Well, today we have Caro Duran, and we're in her beautiful studio here at Flux. And I just want to tell you a little bit about Caro. She's a Colombian composer, multi-instrumentalist, and music producer with over 15 years of experience in the industry. She began as a young songwriter in a rural part of Colombia, starting out on piano and guitar, with a clear instinct to create and the support of a family that encouraged that path. What's striking about her journey is how that early spark evolved into a career that seamlessly blends the human and the digital. From pioneering live looping in Colombia to becoming an Ableton Live ambassador and collaborating with global brands like Yamaha and Roland, she's built a sound and an identity that feels entirely her own. Caro is now based in New York. That's why we're here today. She's a resident producer at Flux Studio, which is a fantastic place, and an educator at 343 Labs. Caro is not only creating music, she's helping shape how music is made. Through her platform On the Wave and her work around the world, she's opening doors, building community, and creating new pathways into music production that feel more accessible and inclusive. In this conversation, we'll explore how she built that journey, from writing songs as a teenager to becoming a global voice in music production, and how she continues to move that forward. Please welcome Caro Duran.
Thank you, Sarah.
Now, you started writing at a very young age, before the awareness of production or the music industry or anything, just instinctively creating. When you think back to that 9-year-old version of yourself at Columbia, what do you recognize in her that's still driving you now?
Wow, so when I'm starting to create music, it was actually already in my soul. Like, I'm just starting to recognize that I like to listen what it was in my mind. The melodies, harmonies, rhythm that I'm starting to create, it was inspiring to growing up in a small country and in the farm. Actually, I find amazing sounds in the environment that I was. And for me, something that I think is still in me, it's just creating music without overthinking. At that time, I didn't know I was doing music for as a producer or something like that. I was just creating things that I wanted to listen to in my head, like in also in my room. I was like being inspired to the people who I have around, my brother, my dad, my mom. But it was 8 years old when I started to play the piano. It was so younger, and I didn't even think about anything. I was just like creating. And I remember creating loops. I remember that I started to create loops and just.
And how old were you when you were doing that?
8 years old.
8 years old creating loops? Wow,
Yes.
that's amazing.
Yeah. I was using a recording cell phone to just like play the piano, recording a loop, and then on top, recording the texture of the forest.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's a great experience.
And I know you told me that your father was very influential and very supportive, and he would help you get a piano teacher visiting from rural, where there you were in rural Colombia.
Yeah, I was living in where we call in Colombia like a vereda. It is like a town out of the city, like 2 hours from Bucaramanga, which is the city, the capital of my state, which is Santander. And my teacher, he was living in like 3 hours ago, like 3 hours from my home. Like it was, my dad has to take him, go to other city to take him. Actually, he was living in the other like town, very far. Like, and he went every like Mondays. I remember he stopped to work for all day, and then he just get the teacher to our home, and remember like 1 hour and a half class, and my teacher just back again. That took like around 7 hours.
You were so driven, your family was so driven to help you, that they went to all this trouble to get a teacher to you. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And then tell us more how you then wound up going into studying at in Bogota, right?
Yes. So I was like 8 years old when I'm just studying, but I already at that time I knew it, that I was creating something. I was like, I don't know. I don't think I was like just like pushing myself to being somebody in the music. I was just making music. The music was already in me. I was just doing and express myself with the music. I was 14 years old when I moved myself to the city every day to start to learning music in Aula de Música Moderna, it was a school for music. Then they have a partnership with Berkeley Global. So for me, it was like that was the first time I heard that school. And then I was like, all right, so maybe I can learning something here. Because like the traditional schools in my city, it was more, or the universities in my city, it was more for classical music, traditional music. And my focus, it was like creating loops. So that was another completely different thing that I never saw in my country. So I never get a reference, but I knew it, that I want to create a loop, and I want to play in a tab and play in a tab like many times and create something by my own. So I turned myself to start to learning how to be in this more professional. And that time I'm starting to learning how to make these loops with Ableton. Move to create loops with a cell phone, to learning how to do it that way.
And this is when you went to was it university?
Yeah.
It was part of the Berkeley program. Yeah. It's just so interesting that you would be, able to make this transition in such an unusual environment. You obviously had a tremendous gift.
Yeah, at that time we were still living like 2 hours ago from the city. So I was traveling all the time, every day, to get my classes in Bucaramanga and then back. It took like around 5 hours, like 4 hours, because I didn't live. My family now it's based in the town called Lebrija, but we was living more far than Lebrija. Lebrija took like around 1 hour, but we was living in a, like we call that vereda, but it's like a small town in the town actually. Yeah.
It's so interesting because, I mean, just sitting with you here in New York in this fantastic studio, it's quite a journey that you've taken, and it's lovely to hear your story.
It was around like 10 families living in that
Wow.
part of this of our town, like around 10 families, no more than that. So I never get any inspiration there for other like producers or. But as I already say, I didn't think I was turning myself to be a producer. I was just creating music, creating the things I was hearing in there, because the music, it was already there. It was in the animals. It was in the texture of what you listen every day. So that was my inspiration actually.
So moving ahead, here we are. I know we talk a lot on this podcast about, experience as a woman in this business. Once you've already gone through your education and came to New York, you said 4 years ago, you said that you had initially not felt ready to step into production, especially as a woman in a male-dominated space. What finally pushed you to move there, and how do you think about where you are now?
Yeah, I think we put this war ready just to separate our work, to just move on. We never know we are ready. We are just doing and improving in this life. I take this war off in my life when I was younger, just because my dad every day told me that. He told me, "You never gonna be ready. Don't say that. You just gonna you just need to live. You just need to do it. One time you do it, you're not ready. You just need to be better and better." And he was pretty like dreaming and passionate guy at the time. With my brother and I, we both are. I think my brother is fantastic. He has this mind to doing everything he wanted, and they inspired me to do the same. When I was younger, they told me, "You can do everything you want." And my brother is 5 years older than me, and I'm still like feeling, wow, he was very, very supporting to me. Like he was like, "Caro, that games when you guys a kid, you are a kid." I was always wanted to him. Like we playing like soccer, we playing like a lot of games in our when we was a kids, and he was always very proud of me and told me like, "You got this. So you're better than me." And I think, I don't know, but some reason I think he was like just doing that for make me feel brave, and told me that you can do everything you want.
She creates noise.
And I think it's really important also that to just mention how much family matters, especially fathers with daughters, who obviously you had a very supportive father. Just being able as a child to hear that you can do anything you want, it just had such an amazing impact on you, and it really does on anyone. Speaking to all fathers out there,
Yeah.
to really encourage your daughters, right,
Yeah.
to live up to their.
Now I realize my family matters a lot in my career. Not all the time I was thinking the same. Like 5 years ago, like I was thinking things like, I have to make this by my own all my life. When I moved to New York, this city was like a very teaching me every day. In this city was like, Caro, like things that I never told matters to me,
Right.
start to matter here for me, as my family and the impact they have in my career. As my mom, she was like everything that I have in my life, being like so gentle, so nice with other people, so lovely, so empowered, like trying to help other people. It's my mom. So that I have that side of my mom, and I have that side of my dad and my brother in my life. And that's so important to us to recognize this. I was fighting with them like 7 years ago because I thinking very different than them. They believe in many things that I don't believe.
That's normal.
It's normal. Yeah, sure.
Kids are always disagreeing with their
Yeah,
parents.
but it was like hard to me at that point to recognize that I don't. That's okay, and families are not perfect, and you have to learn that if you take the good things they give you, you can be very powerful.
There's that sort of yin and yang, the power and the gentle side. You also talked about having set emotional boundaries to handle criticism because you're stepping into such a major field that is so male-dominated. And it's a powerful idea, but it's something that men don't usually have to think about. Like, let me protect myself because I'm going to get all this criticism. What does that look like in a room when you're walking in as a producer, as a woman?
Yeah. It is important to have boundaries because not every opinion matters. Like most of them are just projections. And for me, it was like important to put boundaries to the opinion who matters to me versus the opinions who doesn't really matters. And have that boundary to me change all of my energy actually in a room. Because one time I get into a room, there is like a bunch of people working things, and maybe I'm just the only woman in that room. The opinions who started to matter to me, it was the opinions who was giving for the best of the projects that we was working on. Mm-hmm. So if you give something, if you say something that is important for the best of your project and is turn everyone who is in the room inspired and it has the energy to give the best for the project, that's the opinion who mattered to me. The other, I had just to put the boundary, and that person who gave that opinion, I would start to looking more.
Yeah, not maybe don't work with them again or something. Yeah, I mean it happens. I mean
it happens. We have to put that boundaries because our energy matters a lot. Yeah.
Stay positive in the room and bring in people that you've learned have been supportive of you. And I do believe it is getting better for women producers. Some of the people I've interviewed, I had someone else on the podcast who said there's a lot more women producers out there than you realize. Maybe they're not getting all the attention, but they're out there.
That's true. We all are out there. You just need to pay more attention to other.
So statistically, though, they're not in the top 100. That's the other thing. But they're out there making music.
That's completely true. That we need just to open our eyes. Like it's when we are focused more on, like it's a mindset, right, in the industry right now. So people think I need a producer, so they just they focus in men.
A track guy, as people call it, right?
Yeah. That is a magnet. It's okay. We don't think about, as a woman, I don't think we need to follow the room with women. We just need to open our eyes, pay more attention to women's, like give the same opportunities and pay the same, actually.
I mean, I think approaching it with a positive attitude is really important, and I feel that from you.
Yeah.
It's just not like, oh, it's been, it's really tough out here, but more like I'm doing something great and people will hear it.
Yes.
Now, you've worked across multiple cities and scenes, bravely coming to New York City. That's, again, quite a thing. How do you decide what to absorb from a culture versus what to hold on to in your own sonic identity?
Being in a city like that, like this city where everywhere it's a lot of multicultural representations, music, it's actually wonderful to me. That was the first thing I saw in the city that I love this city. It's the most representation, the humanity actually in one city. Mm-hmm. In one city, then you can go to the streets and just try new food that you never tried before. So for me, that's a wonderful inspiration. But as you already say, you need your boundaries clear. You need your objects clear. And to me, that's important. Like sometimes I'm just like back to myself, to my own. I just close my eyes. And I do this meditation about what I came to New York, what I'm here, right? So and at that point, I start to like respond my questions. And when I'm doing that, I'm just back to my main object.
Back to your roots, you feeling, because this room is very meditative. I like the colors and the feeling of it. And my logo even matches. It's funny, my logo matches your wall.
Yeah. Oh, that's
crazy.
real.
Teal
That's
blue. I love teal blue
true.
because I feel there's something very meditative about you.
Yeah.
You're very calm.
Yeah, and I'm trying it. Like in this city where you can find a lot of noise outside, you need to have your objects clear, right? You need to talk with yourself. And I really love to talk with myself, and I really love my life, my soul. I love me a lot. So that's why I think it's such an important thing living in New York, because I take from New York the energy, the inspiration, but I keep very brave and strong with my objects, and still being the same.
Well, I mean, this is such an amazing opportunity you have here in the studio. You obviously bring a great deal, and there's something very special about you. I know. As soon as I spoke to you, I knew that I wanted to interview you.
Thank you.
Because I think you've really overcome, I didn't want to say obstacles, just coming from somewhere that this would have been such an unusual choice. So you've, through all that, you've come here. It's pretty impressive, I have to say.
Thank you. And talking with you, actually, it's feeling different.
That's really nice. I know you mentioned in another interview about bilingualism as a bridge, because you're obviously, Spanish speaking.
Yes.
Have there been moments where language actually changed the outcome of a collaboration or a piece of music? Have you noticed?
We were talking behind the scenes about it. In my life, I have to be and I have also to think about in this way. Then, even if that is a language or anything new in your life, you have to be just patient, brave, and doing it every day. And be gentle with yourself. So that's something that I'm learning about it. Of course, sometimes people don't have the same energy to waiting and try to understand what you say it. Especially in my first years in New York. My first year, it was a very big challenge to learning the language.
Was your English pretty good at the time when you came here?
My English, it was like, hey, how are you? That's it. And I was like, don't ask that question, how are you? Because I don't understand what you say after that. But now, I think I learning fast. I think that's one of the I just think that's one of the things that I like about myself. Like I learning fast, and I take I take and I learning from every place that I'm being. Like sometimes it's very good, especially if you are in this environment like this and this very huge and amazing studio, and in this city when you can learning everywhere. So that's also one of the attractive things. But I moved myself to New York because I so God, what is the sky here? What is the ceiling in the city? And that's what was very attractive to me, learning, learning, and learning. And I'm very passionate in learning. So I don't think being and working in another language for me it's like a barrier, or I actually think it's an opportunity to learn more and more how people think and how people express themselves, because we have just one language here in music.
That's right.
It's just music, and we have the same chords, we have the same melodies and rhythms. So that's my language, music, right? So
She creates noise.
Yeah, that's really, really true. Now, it's also very impressive that you're an Ableton Live ambassador. You're collaborating with brands like Yamaha and Roland, and that's quite something. Did you bring those opportunities when you came here? There was an opportunity that brought you to New York, I believe.
I became Ableton ambassador when I was in Colombia. I actually was a amazing thing because I did the masterclass for women producer in Bogota. And after that, Ableton started to have they focus on me. One of the brand managers in Latin America, Diego Martinez, he's living in Mexico and he was traveling to Colombia. And at that time, I asking him and I sent an email, and I'm pretty good with when I want to do something. So I just start to, I don't know, life, it gave me signals and I just follow the sign. And I just followed the intuition that I like.
Seems like things just naturally fell into place because you were so clear.
Yeah.
That your energy was just, you knew what you wanted and people could feel it when they were around you.
We met at Bogota. I was giving a masterclass actually in Medellin, and I'm traveling. I just took the airplane and I got to Bogota like for 2 hours. I went to Bogota and just get there and get immediately to looking for Diego's. We go to DNA Music in Colombia, and I went there and I remember we have just 10 minutes to talk. And I just talk Diego about myself, and then we do more meetings after that. And I became the first ambassador in Colombia, and then the first woman being ambassador in Latin America. And we did a lot of things, master classes for more women's, like Ableton is very supported. So I really like to work in Ableton more than just the software. It's a community. It's a reason in my life doing music. Actually, I give all of my life and energy and time to Ableton, and that was like after I get that, I get the certification from Yamaha. So I became as an Yamaha artist after working with Ableton. That was a very impressive thing to me. Now, like 2 months ago, I'm official artist for the Sick Track, which is a music production station from Yamaha too.
I think I saw that on one of your posts. It was
Yeah, Mayumi Narada, she's from Japan, and she's leading the Yamaha Latin America. She spoke like 5 languages. But it's amazing when you can connect with people. I think the important thing to me, more than just being an artist or ambassador for these brands, I'm ambassador for the brands I really use. From the brands I every day I can use, and I can be like inspired, and I feel support from them. But the power about this is also the people who are behind these brands. And that people, it was actually very supporting to me. All of them, like from Roland Cloud. I'm an artist from Roland Cloud recently. I'm like 6 months ago, I became a Roland certified trainer. They have this side. It is new, but starting to be a certified training with Roland, and then I teach, and I was the first person who translate the course to Spanish. I translate the course from English to Spanish, and I give it for more than 30 persons, for more than 30 people in the world. So it was actually an important thing to me to help more people in Latin America and Spain or Spanish speaking people to get the music technology very closer. So that's one of the things that I really want to do every day, to help people to get more advances in the music technology more fast. Because like sometimes we have to wait in a lot to get those like courses and knowledge in Spanish. It's first in English, and it is good also, but we have to wait in a lot. So
I could see that may be changing with all the excitement about a lot of Spanish music right now. Yeah,
but now it's good that I can help more people to be more close to produce music in a specific moment.
So I wanted to talk to you a bit about women in your life, people you're working with, or mentors that you have that are women, or you mentoring other women. Is that part of your experience?
Women in my life. When I'm starting to be a producer, it was very hard to find. Imagine like 15 years ago, find other women in studios. It was actually hard to see other women, and I don't remember any at that point that it was my reference. But as I already say, I didn't know I was building my career as a producer. I was just creating loops. I was just doing live looping. Damn, I know it. That's what producers doing in the studio. They create loops, actually. for different structures, of course. 5, 6 different blocks in a song, but they all loops. And
Or they use splice.
even if they use splice or if they play it, music are loops in different directions, of course. Music has 2, 3 parts, even classical music. All of them are thinking about parts and you repeat that parts. And then I became a producer just because of that, because I was doing live looping. But I wasn't thinking about it, so I didn't have that reference to see a women and in real in studio.
Do you feel now, though, here in New York, are you seeing more, because I know we're going to talk about you teaching, but are you seeing more women students or women that you feel that you can mentor?
I started to find more women in the studio recently, yeah. But I'm also starting to feel the responsibility to teach more women. And when I saw any woman in my classroom, I feel so excited and I give most like energy at that class because I know we have, as a women producer, we have that responsibility to expand the numbers, and that's important thing to us. But at the same time, yeah, now sure I'm starting to see more women in this city, but it's a capital of the world and it's a few women producers. So that means something, in the world. So yeah, so that's why I accept to support you in this idea about She Creates Noise, and because like more women have to listen our works and more women have to know it, that you are not alone. We are more, and you just need to know that you are a producer, and you just need to believe in that. If you produce your music, don't think I just make songs a little. It is a tiny song, but it needs a producer. Maybe you are the producer and you don't know it.
Don't be timid about your own skills.
Just be brave and just accept the challenge to believe. Yeah.
I think you are very brave.
She creates noise.
So you're kind of teaching what isn't being taught between 343 Labs and your work with major brands. You're an advocate and an educator. I know we're talking, sort of continuing to talk about what is not being taught enough, both to women or to men. What do you think? How do you feel sometimes that the gaps are? What are the gaps?
Yes, I think the mindset. I think every technical structure are covered. All the schools, all the academies, universities, they have everything covered about technical things. But the mindset, it's not covered. And it has to be 100% covered. What I mean with the mindset is because like very good people, good producers still have amazing songs in just their computers. They didn't finish the songs because they don't believe in their choices in that song. And that's what I think we need to work more on it. In our mentality, in our emotions, in believing whatever any choice and became to create that song. Because the only thing that is separate you from a big artist, it's they done the songs. Maybe your song is better than other songs that are out there, but you're still thinking you don't finish, you aren't ready for that. But we never ready. And something that I learned in this studio that I have to thank to Daniel and Fab, I'm starting to do my own mixing and masterings. And Daniel told me one time, Caro, you never gonna finish a mix. You just decide to let it go. And I think that's a very powerful thing. We never finish a song. Never the version 20 is the best. It's just
mix number whatever.
Yeah. It's just let it go and keep moving. And I think that's a wonderful thing that we need to incorporate more in academies and university to people finish the songs and keep moving and believe in themselves and the music and the show.
Shouting out Fab DuPont, who introduced us, and he is a great person to have that kind of advice from, right? Just like believe that it is great. You've got to put it out there and get it out there.
Yeah.
Because there's always remixes. You could do a remix, you got to just to say, this is the one.
Yeah, no, it is always released. It's always many ways to keep working in the same song, but we just learning something new for every song that we produce. So if you keep moving, if you just working in other piece, you will realize maybe that was other thing that we want to put in another song and not in the same. So we don't have to put everything in one song.
And I think you're also saying about, it's not so much mental health, but sort of self-love, like believing that your work needs to be heard.
Yeah.
And not keeping it in your hard drive and just getting it out there in the world in one way or another,
Yes.
Whether it be on a Spotify or Amazon or, playing it live, which I think is going to become more and more important.
Yeah, that's the only thing that it separates you to be as a singer, producer, or just put it out there. Stop to save those projects. Albums, entire like 50 songs, just save it. You just need to put it out there. People deserve to listen to those songs.
Now, you've also created On the Wave, which is a community that fosters community. Was there a specific moment where you realized that this doesn't exist, I have to make it happen?
I want to work more in the mindset. The technical stuff is already covered. It is out there, amazing programs, and I can teach you to be everything you want. But I realized then the energy, then your mind, it's so powerful when you put that also in your career, when you are focused also to build your mind and be ready in your mind. Yeah. So that's why I create On the Wave.
Is that more about mindset, about encouraging people?
It's both. It's about mindset, but it's also about techniques. Of course, I support people to learning how to create songs from scratch in Ableton. But I also, in the main thing about On the Wave, is support people to I go out there to create partnerships and get scholarships for my students. Some of they don't have to pay nothing. Some of them pay a little bit for it. But Ableton, Roland, they are support their programs.
We'll put that in the notes so people know how to apply for that. Yeah.
And that's an amazing thing because like music industry is so expensive. Everything you have to buy a cable, everything. It is so expensive, and learning it is too. But I'm trying to, at the same time, in this On the Wave community, we have like supporting your mindset. We have supported also with big brands because my students are sponsored officially for Ableton as a student, so they get discounts in the program. So they in the software, so they have good deal with that, right? And in the other hand, I have a couple of my programs are in Spanish because people in New York, it is a big community in New York, and they speak Spanish and they wanted to be comfortable in Spanish. Yeah. So On the Wave, it's also bilingual.
So I know we talked a bit about women in the business. What do you see? What do you feel needs to change to make it easier for women to be in a position like you're in?
We talk about it a little bit when we started, but I want to keep talking about because like we need to open our eyes and to see maybe your sister is a producer and she don't know it. Maybe someone in your family or your friends are a music producer and they just need to believe a little bit in themselves. And I think that's one of the things that we need to keep working on.
Yeah. Education, the more women we see, the more
women we see, expand the numbers, like hiding a women, giving to them opportunities to work with you, and maybe you will learning also from them, and maybe you will like get a better job sometimes. So we are passionate. We are there. We're out there. So
They're out there. So what's coming up for you?
I just started to. I learning from one of the most important persons in my life. Just stop to think in the future and believe what is happening right now.
Yeah, but I mean, like, you have a record coming out.
I'm working right now in an album, and it's coming. And June 20, we're gonna release that album in a boat party. And I saying that what is coming to me, like, because I don't know what is coming tomorrow. So I know maybe it's coming an album.
Right.
And the album is ready. I don't know what's going on tomorrow. I don't know what will happen in this with this work specifically right now. But to me, every day it's working in music. I'm music in my dreams. I'm music in the mornings. Every time I'm recording to what is coming to Caro. So every day working in music. Every day working with people who want to believe in themselves. People who want to recording in this beautiful room with me and create music. So, and also I have that responsibility to inspire more women. So I feel that that is something that is coming to my side. If I'm still in this work at my age, I know I'm pretty younger in the industry. I just want to make music and still have this same energy when I'm starting to create music at my 8 years old. Not overthinking anything, just keep doing everything because I love to do it.
Well, thank you so much, Caro. It was so nice to have you. Look forward to hearing your music and staying in touch.
Thank you. Thank you all for listening.
Vaya afán de arruinarnos el día. Si aquí seguimos vivos todavía, nada gano en lamentarme la vida. Lo que se fue, y si no vuelve al camino se le olvidó. Y si se le olvida es porque no le importó. Estresarme perjudica y recuerdo que aquí estoy, no sé cómo llegué. Somos seres tan fugaces que olvidamos que la vida es un ratito y se va. Se va, se va, se va. Lo que tiene que ser, será. Será, será, será. La vida es un ratito y se va. Se va, se va, se va. Todo nos trajo hasta acá. Será, será, será.
I'd like to thank today's sponsor, Heard City, the premier audio post-production company servicing the advertising, motion picture, and television industries right here in NYC. I'd also like to thank Antello, aka XOAn, for singing the She Creates Noise theme that I wrote. Thanks for listening to She Creates Noise. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe, rate, and share. I want to thank the team here, Blair Reinley, Yelena Stavanovich, Emily Wilson, and the Master of Engineering and Grammy-winning Cooper Anderson. We'll see you next time.
She creates noise. She creates noise. We hear her voice. She creates noise. She creates noise. She creates noise. We hear her voice. She creates noise.
If you enjoyed listening to this podcast, please consider leaving a review wherever you listen. For example, we have a comment from Tessie Schultz in Berlin, Germany, Brilliant episode with Karen Veazey. Thanks a lot. Inspiring and great insight. All the best from Berlin. Now, we really appreciate those things because it helps the algorithm. And we read everything, so please comment, send a review, and we will really appreciate it. And the podcast will do better and get to more people. Thanks a lot.
She creates noise.